All right, what do we got? We got Modern Warfare 3. Why does aiming feel so bad in Modern Warfare 3? 16 FPS games compared. So, just judging by this, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, he's got Halo? And I don't know, like, what all these other games. Wait, you got Halo again? Maybe there's Battlefield somewhere. Oh, I think this is Halo. I don't know what this is. I feel, wait, is this Overwatch? I think this is Overwatch. And I know that's COD. I know Battlefield is somewhere in here. Oh, Halo again. What is this game? Oh, wait, is this Fortnite? With, okay. Anyway. I'm curious. Because usually, to me, Call of Duty is dead. Like, there's never going to be a good Call of Duty. Like, ever again. From any of the teams. I don't care which team is making it. You're all bad. It's just a Call of Duty is a game for controllers. It's a fact that okay, when I say bad, I don't mean it's bad. Shit, I might as well just fucking restart this video. Jesus, not starting out on a good foot. Let's keep going anyway. I'll just leave it.
This video is about the aim in Modern Warfare 3, so this should really be about Modern Warfare 2 because basically the engine changes they made for Modern Warfare 2 carried into Modern Warfare 3, and basically over the last few months there's been tons of people, specifically mouse and keyboard players, saying that the aim just feels off. Something just feels completely off about the aim, and they haven't been able to put their finger on it, and that's what the point of this.
Well, the reason it feels off for M and K is you ain't got no aim assist. There. It feels off because you ain't got no aim assist. There it is. I solved it.
This video is going to be. So most of the things I'm going to talk about in this video are not specific to keyboard and mouse, but specifically the main culprit that I think is causing aim to feel kind of off in Modern Warfare 3 as a dramatically exaggerated effect for keyboard and mouse. So we're going to go through this step by step. I'm going to talk about the things that I think are causing this. I'm going to show you guys the 16 games that I've compared. It's going to be like Overwatch, Fortnite, CSGO, PUBG, just all the most popular games over the last like 10 years. We're going to compare them, see if they have these things in them, and I'll try to explain why I think what I think about what's causing this.
Ooh.
All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is just aim sway. This is not something new to COD.
Aim
but
sway.
Later on in the video, you'll see how I think it is different and changed in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. But basically, I just want to explain how it works to start with. So basically, it's a two sine wave curve in the x-axis and the y-axis with slightly different frequencies, and it starts when you ADS. It's constantly happening in the background before you've even ADS'd. Then when you
wait, so aim sway is this like your? Does this mean like your reticle is just constantly moving? And even in because I know if you ADS for any gun, your reticle is just gonna do like a little whatever pattern, and that's really annoying to always having to constantly correct for just the passive aim sway. That just sounds annoying.
You ADS, it moves your aim to that point wherever it was ran.
And you know what's funny? At least in Apex, they could probably get away with all this passive aim sway because at least in Apex, there is aim smoothing, an unintended bug of the game where as long as you move your reticle like 3 or 4 degrees in some direction, the reticle will stay there and ignore the recoil pattern of the gun. Yeah. At least there's aim smoothing. So there's some level of skill that you can derive from that. But as far as I know, in Call of Duty, there ain't no aim smoothing. It's just pull down and maybe a little to the left and then hope you're straight.
Randomly in those two curves. So you can see this right here. I'll put the reticle right on the head of this target at 25 meters. And then when I ADS, it'll be in a random point off the target. So you can't really predict that.
What the fuck? That's horrible. Bro, that is an artificial lengthening of gameplay. You're literally just artificially prolonging the time to play the game because the reticle is not where you intend for it to be. So you put it on his chest, you zoom in, it's not on his chest, you have to go there again. I can't imagine the level of micro bullshit that this game has to engage in just to prolong playtime for this game. So much to the fact that even in ADSing, they're trying to nickel and dime you on seconds to correct your aim. Oh, you zoomed in? Oh, the reticle's over there. You got to take an extra second. This adds another extra second of time to kill in the game. This is so funny.
That you don't know where it is because you can't see it when you're not ADS'd.
Oh my
So
God.
that's just one factor that makes it a little more.
I'm having whiplash from him just going in and out.
More random. It feels weird when you flick to a target, you're right on their head.
Jesus.
And then you ADS, and you're just not actually on their head because you can't see that aim sway. So obviously, I built this gun to have terrible aim sway, so you kind of exaggerate the effect, but you can see that it's in a random point when I ADS. You
Oh
don't know
my
where it's
God.
gonna be, and that just.
Bro, stop trying to like justify this as it's realistic. All right? I don't care about the realism. I don't play Call of Duty for the realism. I don't really play Call of Duty anymore at all, but when I did, I played it for the arcadey, speedy gameplay style. I liked the gunplay. It wasn't too complicated. You know, you just run around. Maybe you can engage in some move tech, like slide hopping and whatever if you want to, or even the games before that. You just literally just sprint. Oh, there's a guy. ADS. SMG him down. Okay, next guy. Oh, he's right there. Okay. Oh, no, I died. Okay, respawn. So on and so forth. All of this extra shit, it doesn't feel good to play.
Just really makes it more difficult to snap onto people's heads, and that's something that keyboard and mouse, every other game has basically direct input.
But I would also argue this effect is probably more pronounced at this range. Most of the time, I would probably bet. I mean, I don't know what FOV he's on. It seems like he's on something like really wide, like 110 or something like that. I don't know what the max FOV is, but if this is just 10 meters, it would seem like I'm looking at the edges, and the edges are all like straight. So I don't know what the default FOV is to make it seem like 10 meters is like not that far, but I would say most of your gunfights in Call of Duty are up close, like SMG range, not AR range. And then like even less of like whatever length this is. Was this 10? I guess it's 25. What is this, like 45 maybe? But that's ridiculous. But this probably is less pronounced with like iron sights, I'm guessing.
Pretty much. So where you're aimed is where you think you're aimed, and it just feels a lot more crisp that way.
Well, here, all you have to do, here's the easy solve. Instead of aiming at the target and the reticle never being there, just aim away from the target, and then it's just a 50-50 of whether or not the reticle will land on your target, or it'll be even further from your target. So I would probably go with that if I'm playing this game. To be fair, if you line up the reticle on a person and it is always off target, we'll just put the reticle off the target, and then maybe at least you'll have like a 50-50 chance to be either on or off the target. If it goes further, it's like, whatever, just put it back on. But if you're off, just line it up again.
Aim sway is not a new thing. This has been in pretty much all the COD games that had, the ADS mechanic, and it's in almost all other games that have an ADS mechanic as well. I just think it could potentially work a little bit differently. So I've written some Python code to show what it does now. So basically, if I run this, it's going to pop up with a curve that's going to start animating. You can see that it starts in a random point. It's just like it does in game, and then it'll draw the curve.
Oh, here we go.
I'll run this a couple times so you can see how it's just in a random point at the start. So this one started up in the top left instead of in the bottom left.
Mm-hmm.
But how I think this could be changed is just make it always start in the center. So when you ADS, have the curves start essentially at t equals 0 with no phase shift. So if we change this code,
Oh no, because if you have that, that means you have some sort of consistency in the game. And then when players discover that the first bullet always comes out where the reticle is, it automatically makes those guns that have like high damage, but or just I don't know lower what do you call it, fire rate. It makes those guns way better, and it would only be a matter of time before players figure this out. If I mean, I'm assuming all your usual suspects are data mining the game to figure all this out. I've never seen a video like this to like break it down like this. All I've ever seen is just like, hey guys, I did a lot of testing and these attachments are best on this gun for blah 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 XYZ reasons. But any form of consistency in this game only allows the skilled players to perform at a much higher level than your casuals. So, yeah.
you basically just a random sign for the x-axis and the y-axis, and then always have it starting in the center. You're going to see it's going to look a lot better. So I'll do that now.
Mm-hmm.
So running it now, you
That's
can see
crazy.
that it started in the center and just moved away from that when you ADS.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I would like to see happen in game. I highly doubt this will ever get changed because this is something that's been the same for a long time. But this is just one of those things that it just adds to the randomness. And for keyboard and mouse, like trying to have little flicks and just consistent aim, you can't really get that. So if I run this again, you're going to see that.
No, you couldn't possibly have M&K be at all as good as controller is in this game. There's no shot that that would happen. The devs would never let that happen.
That it's going to start in the center again and go up to the left. But basically the way I want it to happen is it'll have a random sign for the X and Y component. So this one started down to the left, but it still started in the center. So it can move away from the center point in some random direction, but we want it to start in the center. So basically that's just setting the T equal to 0 after ADS animation is fully finished. All right, effect number 2 that we're going to talk about. This is one that I actually thought was new to Modern Warfare 2 and then also Modern Warfare 3. But upon checking the 16 games, this was actually also in Modern Warfare 19 and Warzone 1. So I don't think this is the culprit for why Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 feel so off. But I do think it impacts it, and it is an effect that will cause problems for keyboard and mouse players and controller players alike. But it's just these effects get exaggerated on keyboard and mouse. So this is what I'm talking about. So when you ADS, if you...
But then again, why are you M&K bros trying to play a controller game in the first place?
move your mouse one direction, the reticle shifts away from the center of the screen towards that direction. So if I move back and forth quickly here, you should be able to see this. The reticle's kind of wobbling back and forth left to right off the center of the screen. And I'll show you guys some more stuff here in a second.
Oh yeah, that I remember that effect. That's in a lot of games. I always found that really annoying, just for the sake of immersion. Anything that isn't a clean, what do you call it? Just like is a like if I want a reticle or something in the center of my screen, anything that deviates from that in my head is for the sake of immersion. All right, so this reticle like wobbling back and forth, that's probably to give you a little more depth of field with like the gun. You want to have like or maybe guns that have a maybe like there's like a scope and then you see this the front of the gun, the iron sight. There's maybe a couple layers of like a reticle, a hollow sight, or whatever this screen is, for the sake of immersion. Because if I actually really wanted to, I could literally download this little program off of Steam, all right, and it's called HUD Sight, and I could just have a little reticle that I can customize myself on the center of my screen at all times and just go by that. If I really wanted to.
That really, shows this effect. All right, so basically I took a weapon with high zoom and measured this. And
it looks like he did this already. Or maybe this is his computer's like built-in little reticle thing.
This is the maximum deviation. So the green dot was the center of the screen. And then obviously the red dot is where the bullet actually goes when you fire. And this is purely from mouse movement or, controller right thumbstick movement. So when you're aiming quickly, so if you're doing a flick or just tracking someone quickly, your reticle is going to shift away from the center of the screen and make your bullets not go to dead center on your screen. And that is a very, very weird feeling.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? This the game kind of has a little bit, a very slight bit of raw Excel built into it. If this is the case, if the bullet always comes out like on the red dot and not the center of your screen, this is some sort of, and I don't know, like, is this exaggerated by the speed of how much you move your cursor? Like, if you like whip your shit like bam, like really fast, does it go like way past, or it just goes out a set amount of distance? I'm not sure, but the main question is like, this is just an artificial form of raw Excel built into the game. So if you don't know what raw Excel is just like a little program you download for. It's mostly for like M&K players for like mouse control and shit. And let's say you move your mouse like a little bit, the program will be like, okay, if you're moving your mouse really slow, we'll put you on like some low sense, like 60 centimeters per 360. But if the program senses that you're moving your mouse really quick, all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, you want to move quick? Well, let's just turn your mouse up to like something speedy, to like 20 centimeters per 360. So the amount of distance that you're moving your hand is the same, but you have to regulate the speed at which you move the mouse. So if you move your mouse fast, you'll get like a fast sense. But if you move your mouse slow, it'll give you a slow sense. But that's just my 2 cents on what this feels like
For keyboard and mouse players, because it's just something that the vast majority of other games don't have.
And I would say most players don't even register that raw Excel is a thing, and it's just like, it's kind of pointless. Like, it's hard enough to shoot. Like, shooting in games is hard enough. All right, and now you want to add another layer to it, one that most people don't even realize it's happening to them. It's just, it feels stupid.
It's almost always been, since the beginning of time for FPS games, the bullet goes to the center of the screen. And this reticle shift away from the center will create almost like a mouse acceleration feeling, because
there you go.
There's a slight deviation as you move the mouse at different speeds, which is kind of exactly what mouse acceleration does.
Yeah.
But this almost feels weirder than mouse acceleration, because mouse acceleration normally is just kind of smoothing your mouse input out a little bit, which can feel odd. But this is smoothing your mouse input out and also shifting away from the center of the screen, which we've just never really had before in other games. The reticle the center point was always where the bullet went. And Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and it turns out even Modern Warfare 19 had this, and I just didn't realize it. So because it was in Modern Warfare 19, I don't think this is the true culprit, but what I think happens is all these effects get combined.
But yes, all the effects get combined, making it insanely hard to shoot. And when you make it insanely hard to shoot, what are you doing? You're artificially extending the playtime of the players playing your game, and them not knowing it. The only thing that comes out of their mouth is, aiming feels weird. Aiming feels tough. You get comments like that.
And Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 just felt even weirder because of all the combined effects. But the next one we're going to talk about is the one that I think is the real culprit.
There's too many layers.
Before we move on to the next one, this deviation might not look like very much.
This game, Call of Duty, is trying so hard to not have aiming like Quake. Quake, you're like, there's like almost zero recoil in Quake, I believe, on like most guns. I think there's like a couple. I only played Quake like a couple hours or whatever, but the entire environment of Quake is just, you have your reticle on your screen, you have very minimal, if any, visual clutter, and it's up to you, the player, to put the reticle on the body. That's it. There's none of this aim sway, reticle moving bullshit, visual recoil, gun recoil, camera recoil, visual clutter. All this noise is like layers and layers of things just hindering you from just playing the game. They are trying so hard to not be Quake.
Compared to like this target size, but this is only a 25 meter away target, and that is already about half the width of a head hitbox. So at 50 meters, it was basically the size of the head hitbox, and I'm going to show you guys some math later on that calculates basically what all these effects can do and how much off they can make your aim, and it's pretty crazy what the end result is. So we'll see that in a little bit later. The other weird part about that aim shift is that it kind of works the opposite as you would expect. So they basically did this because they want it to feel more realistic.
Oh my god. He said the R word. He said realistic. The devs thinking players are playing Call of Duty for the realism.
I want it to feel like the weapon has like mass and can kind of shift away from the center of the screen. And you know, in real life, when you're moving your aim, the weapon has weight. And
who QA'd this? Where's the quality assurance? Who played this game and said that this was all right? Those guys are idiots.
It's going to be hard to keep it like perfectly centered in your eye. So they kind of did that to try to make it feel more realistic, which Modern Warfare 2 was like all about realism, it seemed like. And in my opinion, it's okay if there are games that are based in real.
If I want to play a shooter, and I want to play a shooter that's realistic, I'm not going to Call of Duty. I'm going to like something else where it has simulation, like military simulation in the title. Shooter simulation. I'm not playing Call of Duty. One of the most recognized titles in FPS history, in video game history. Call of Duty is not realistic to me at all.
Realism, that's completely fine, but COD has never been that, and I think that's why a lot of people really weren't happy with those design decisions. So that's why they did it. But what's weird is it doesn't work how you'd expect. So in real life, if you were aiming down sights and you move to the left, most of the time, like the weapon weight is going to make the weapon want to stay in the same place. So as you try to move, it's going to almost like fall behind where you want it to be. And in the game, it does the opposite. So when you aim to the left, it moves the reticle left of center. When you aim to the right, it moves the reticle right of center. So it's almost like the opposite of what I would expect.
Oh my god.
All right, last up, this is the third reason I think aim feels really odd, and I think this is the main culprit. This is the thing that was new in Modern Warfare 2. It was not in Modern Warfare 19. It was not in Warzone 1.
Strafe.
And it's not in
strafe reticle shift. Oh boy, here we go.
Other game. There were only like I think 2 other games of the 16 that I tested that had this. I'll show all those clips later on so you guys can see that. But basically, what it is, when you strafe in this game, when you strafe one direction, the reticle shifts in that direction, away from the center of the screen. Just like the aiming.
Wait, so you have another layer being exposed. You have your turning reticle shift, right? Just turning, like, and your hand is off the movement keys. And then you're going to have the reticle shift even more with just movement keys. Just from either A and D, or if you're on controller, like your left thumbstick moves the gun. Oh my god. How did, and you're trying to do both of these things at the same time? You're trying to strafe and aim at the same time? I can't imagine playing this game at all. This game does not want you to just like put the bullets on the enemy at all. I'm trying to, let me see. Do I have like a thing to kind of show what's happening? No, not really. It's like, well, here. Okay. It's like you have your gun and your gun is doing this. Like, people do not move like this. Oh, I gotta strafe right. Better do this. Like, what is happening? Who thought this was a good idea? Oh my god.
Aiming causes it. Strafing also causes it, and those two effects stack. So if you're strafing left and you aim left, you shift even further off the center of the screen to the left. And again, I'll show math later for what that can cause.
Bro, that's double raw Excel. In my head, this is double raw Excel.
As far as how much off it is at different ranges and how it can cause completely missed shots. So this one feels super weird to me. So if I'm doing my normal 80-80 spam when I'm trying to, not get shot, trying to miss bullets from the other person.
No, you better stand still, boy. You better stand still and shoot that gun, just like in Counter-Strike, just like in Valorant, it seems like.
Makes my aim go all over the place. And it's enough that you'll easily miss a target at 50 meters because of this. So that combined with the aim sway, all these things compound and just make, aim that just feels really like floaty and weird and
bad. Just say it, dude. It makes the aim feel bad.
mouse and key is a super precise input. You have to be perfect on mouse and key to hit your shots, whereas controller, you can be just kind of close to perfect and just kind of get on the target and let aim assist take the wheel, whereas this mouse and key is direct input. What you do is what happens, and because there's all these other effects that are going on in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, that's no longer the case, and that feels really, really bad.
Oh my god.
I want to
That's
quickly
so
show
funny.
you can actually see this in the crosshair as well. There's a setting in the menus now that you can change. So I'll search crosshair dot
What was this?
going on in Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. That's no longer the case, and that feels really, really bad. Mouse and key players. I want to quickly show that you can actually see this in the crosshair as well. There's a setting in the menus now.
Okay, settings. There is a search bar for the settings. How does a game have this many options? And I guarantee if you click on one of these boxes, there's just going to be a laundry list of settings. To have so many settings in a game with the aim that is so bad, you need to have a search bar. This is news to me. I have never seen any game have a search bar for their settings. And honestly, this sounds actually like a good idea. Ironically enough, this is actually a good idea.
That you can change. So I'll search crosshair dot. It's right here. Basically, you can turn it on, off, or static.
Horizontal compass, blah, blah, blah. This is like standard, the usual suspects.
I think it defaults to on. If you set it to static, the actual crosshair will stay perfectly still in the center of the screen, even though that doesn't show the true aim point. On moves that crosshair around. So I've got the center dot turned on as well. So that center dot that you can see in the center of my crosshair.
Bro, this is... Who designed Modern Warfare 3? I don't know what studio or dev. They are literally outing themselves by doing this. To have a little dot right there that is truly static, but to have all these little lines moving around, gyrating, opening and closing, blooming. It's like, why would you do all of these extra effects I just saw? Like, look at this.
That is the center of the screen. And then as I move the gun around, you can see that my crosshair, my actual...
Oh my god. What is that? You see this? Look at this. What game am I playing, dude? Wait. Do I need to buy like some little DLC, some sort of cosmetic that makes the aim good? That's probably the case. They purposely make the crosshairs bad so that way they add in the DLC later to pay for the good crosshair that doesn't do this.
Full real aim point completely shifts around that.
Oh my god.
Near the center, it gets pretty dramatically off in some cases. And this is all because of the weapon having...
Why would they put that setting there? They literally just out themselves.
Like a mass now. You can tell that they're trying to make it feel real. Basically, it follows where the barrel's pointing. So if you strafe left, the barrel shifts to the right, and you can see that the aim point shifts to the right as I'm strafing to the left, and vice versa. And then when I ADS and strafe, it does the opposite. So when I'm strafing left, the reticle shifts left because the barrel shifts left. When I strafe right, the barrel shifts right, the reticle shifts right. So it's just a thing they're trying to make the game feel more realistic. But
Bro, you're going to see real quick who wants to play a realistic Call of Duty and who does not want to play a realistic Call of Duty in the units sold.
I don't think that COD is the game for that, and it's just makes mouse input feel very, very strange when basically no other games do this. There's a couple mil sims that do things very similar to this, but COD's not a mil.
Yeah, but realize what he just said. A military simulator, not Call of Duty.
Sim. That's just not what it's meant to be.
What's next? Is Nike gonna come out and make like some bamboo leaf like shoes and be like, oh, we're discontinuing all the sneakers because this is like the more realistic shoe that you would have in if you were like out like camping or surviving. This is the more realistic shoe. It's made out of tree bark, banana leaves, and yeah, we got that in 2023. That's our shoe for now. How many people do you think would buy that? This many people. Just for the sake of realism. No. Just give me a regular shoe, man. Just give me a regular shoe, please.
So let's combine all this and kind of talk about why this feels so much worse on keyboard and mouse than it does on controller. The first reason is just that keyboard and mouse is direct input. It's perfectly precise. Yeah. You have to be perfect with it in every other game, but it's predictable. So in every other game, you pretty much can snap onto a head and get that headshot because you know that the crosshair, the bullet, everything is going to be in the center of the screen. This game, that's not the case anymore. So that's the first reason. Controller also has the same problems, but because controller is just a less precise input, you don't really feel that effect as much. Second reason, and this is the big one, this is what really, like, the mechanics are different between controller and keyboard and mouse for this. So if you remember what I said, when you aim to the right, if you move your aim to the right, the reticle shifts to the right, off center to the right of the screen. You strafe to the left, the reticle shifts left. So when you get rotational aim assist, what does that do? Well, if you get rotational aim assist, as you move left, the reticle shifts left because you're strafing left, but rotational aim assist pulls your aim back to the right a little bit. So
wait, so are you supposed to, like, if you're on controller, are you supposed to wait, let me think. Are you supposed to just mirror or anti-mirror? I'm literally so confused. Because if you anti-mirror, like go back and forth with somebody, like if you strafe right, you have to pull your right stick left, but it's gonna have to be too much left. This is so confusing.
So basically you get the effect of the reticle shifting left for the strafe, and then rotational aim assist automatically pulls your aim back to the right, which shifts the reticle to the right. So that kind of counteracts the effect of the strafe, which is why controller players just don't feel this as much as mouse and key players.
Okay, so I guess on controller, you always anti-mirror.
Because every time they strafe one direction, they get a counteracting effect from the way the aim is turning in the other direction. So that's just right there. Keyboard and mouse doesn't have that automatic, instantaneous, computer-assisted rotational aim assist. So we only feel the strafe mechanic because we have to manually correct for both moving to the left and the reticle shifting to the left, whereas controller players only have to correct for about half
as much shit
reticle shift because
when you on M&K, when you move, he stated before, when you move your reticle a little bit, like let's say you're trying to mirror someone, if you're strafing, your reticle is going to go to the left, but then you have to correct it. Oh my God. So you have to move your mouse right. You actually have to move your mouse just to get a correct mirror. Oh God. That just sounds so bad. Because usually when you mirror someone, you just let go of the mouse and just strafe aim. Like, oh God.
Of the effect of rotation.
Playing this game literally fucks your mechanics up as M&K.
Aim assist. So I've been working so hard on TGD, getting all the data, getting native apps out for iOS and Android, which are both released, by the way. If you didn't see that in the intro, we now have native Android and iOS apps, so you should definitely go download those. But I finally got to play the game for probably 4 or 5 hours the other night. I was just grinding Rust, trying to get camos unlocked, and this was a situation that I kept running into. Somebody would be on the head glitch up at the top of Rust, and I play keyboard and mouse, and I can just feel this effect happening where I would be tap strafing back and forth, and it just made aim impossible. And I could feel when the sway and the reticle shift would just line up and just make me completely miss. So this is a comparison of keyboard and mouse versus controller. So we're going to start with keyboard and mouse, and then it'll shift to controller, and I'll mention that. So this is keyboard and mouse, me just strafing, no input from the right, the mouse at all, no input from the right stick when it switches to...
Bro, the red reticle is true center, and this little yellow thing is the in-game thing, the in-game reticle. So you can see him just like strafing left and right. And this little yellow dot is like having a ball. It's having a blast. It's like a little tornado, like just going every which way.
Controller, and you can see that it just makes it weird. Like this just looks odd. Now we switched over to controller and we have rotational aim assist on that guy.
Oh,
The exact same strafe spam.
it's way less.
And the reticle just basically stays on the guy. There's still aim sway that you have to correct for in both cases. But because that
It's
rotational
way
aim
less.
assist kind of counters the effect of the reticle shift, you just kind of stick on target, and it doesn't feel a whole lot different than previous games did. But for keyboard and mouse, it feels completely different, and it feels super wonky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do want to mention before I go...
Well, that's because the Call of Duty developers don't want M&K people to be playing their game. That's why.
Further, this strafe reticle shift away from the center of the screen, this is a new thing. We've always had aim walking steadiness. We had aim walking steadiness in Warzone 1, where as you walked, the gun would bounce a little bit. But that never shifted the reticle itself to the right or left away from the center of the screen. What that did...
I think Apex Legends has this as well. So if you turn on HUD sight and you put like just a static little dot in the center, and like you holster your weapon and you just start sprinting, you'll see the little white dot essentially doing just like a little figure eight, like just back and forth, like just having a ball of a time, just, you know, just back and forth.
It was a consistent cadence of bouncing that you could predict and you could learn how to deal with. But this is just feels so strange because it counteracts exactly what you would expect. Basically, they've coupled your character's movement to your aim point, which is what the main problem is here, and that was not really done before in this way. It wasn't really tied to the rate at which your character was moving, the rate at which you were aiming. Aim walking steadiness was just a consistent cadence bounce that was learnable and predictable, and this is not. And also there are attachments that reduce the aimed walking bounciness, essentially.
Bro, is that an actual stat that you can grind an attachment for to reduce? Because if that's the case, that is hilarious to me. That is so funny.
And there's no attachment or anything that reduces this reticle shift. It just happens, and you can't do anything about it. All right, let's get into the 16 game comparison. We've got a lot of the most popular games of the last 10 years. As I'm going through this, I want to remind you guys to sub to the channel. I put a ton of effort into basically everything that I do for TGD. We've now released native iOS and Android apps. You guys can download those. This video took a long time to test and edit, obviously, get all these 16 games downloaded and tested. But yeah, just wanted to remind you, drop a sub, drop a like on the video, comment on the video, and let's get into these 16 game comparisons. Essentially, the comparison is just me looking for two of those effects. I want to see if they have the reticle shifting away from the center of the screen when you move your aim point, and I want to see if they have the strafing effect where when you strafe, the reticle shifts away from the aim point. And we'll go through this. You'll see that not many games have those, and I think that's for good reason. It just makes...
So we're checking for aim sway and strafe sway.
Aiming feel really weird. An FPS game is all about the gunplay, and this just makes gunplay not feel good, in my opinion.
Whoa, what? Fortnite. There's none. It's seeing... Wait, what is this? Modern Warfare 19. There's a little. Okay, this is aim. Aim sway. Yep. Jesus. This is horrible. Fuck. Oh, it says it right up here. Okay. PUBG. Strafe reticle shift. None. Aim reticle shift. Yes. Okay. Oh, Halo 1. The GOAT. No. No is green. Green is good. Halo 1 is goated. Halo 2. Staying consistent. Double no. That's what we're looking for. Halo 3. Double no again. Goated. The trilogy. Halo Infinite. Ooh, another one. Wait, is this the most current Halo? Halo Infinite? It doesn't have the aim reticle in the strafe, but it has this like scope thing that's like shuffling around, but it doesn't really mess with your aim, it seems like. Oh, Battlefield 3, but much slower than Modern Warfare 2 or 3. Oh god, here we go. Yeah, okay. So I think this Battlefield was more realistic than Call of Duty to me. So I think it's okay for Battlefield to have this in, but it's not okay for Call of Duty to have this in there. And even then, I think you have to take out the what do you call it? Take out one of these. All right, I don't care which one. Just take out one of them. But much slower. Okay. Yeah, Battlefield was always the more realistic one when it was versus Call of Duty. Battlefield 4. Oh, they actually did take it out. Oh, dang. There's none on the aim. All right, good. But there's a little on the strafe. It's acceptable. When you do it on the strafe, that makes it a little bit like Counter-Strike in that you have to stop and take your shots. Same thing in Val. What is this? Battlefield 1? No. Dang. The Battlefield 1 aim be crispy. Oh, Battlefield. Oh, wait. 5? That shit is crispy. 2042. Surprise. Very surprising. Oh, dang. Very surprising. Vanguard. Wait, is this Call of Duty Vanguard? Or maybe just a whole different game called Vanguard? There's a little bit on the aiming. Yeah, the aim, whenever it's on the aim, it always is horrible because you're always actively aiming. And Overwatch, of course. The the Overwatch aiming is pretty freaking crispy. Destiny. D2, there's only a little bit of strafe, which is fine. Yeah, if you're gonna add this little effect for the sake of immersion, just put it on the strafe, not the aim. And then the culprits. The plaintiff. The defendant. Ugh. Counter-Strike. Hell no. Nope, there's just a little bit of bloom. But that's the usual mechanics in Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike mechanics are very crispy.
I know how you feel, Gohan. You are gentle. You do not like to hurt.
Yep. None of that noise.
All right, so as you can see, as we went through that, the vast majority of games do not have the aim movement reticle shift or...
Oh, wait. You know what would have been really interesting if he were to show... Bro, it is not looking good for Modern Warfare. All this blue bullshit, I am not fucking playing that. Maybe have this list organized over time. I think that would have been a little bit more interesting to see, like, oh, in the beginning, we didn't even add those. But then as time goes on, oh, we gotta figure out some more stats to put on these shooting games to prolong the gameplay.
Or the strafe reticle shift. Some have both. The only ones that had both besides Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 was Battlefield 3. Battlefield 3 was the only game in all 16 of the games that I tested that had both of those effects, and the strafing effect was kind of minimized in Battlefield 3 because it was so slow. So like the problem with what's happening in Modern Warfare 2 is it happens so quickly that it's like very important in a gunfight to be able to correct for it and see that it's coming and understand how it's going to happen and how it works. And I think that's the core of the problem, is that most of these people that are playing mouse and keyboard in COD have played shooters for their whole lives. So they've played all these different games and they've gotten good at them, and they're just throwing all these wonky, weird effects into the COD engine nowadays that seem to just be kind of trying to make it more random, more...
Yep, because random is fun and not random It's not fun. Random is fun.
more difficult to hit your shots,
Yep.
and those things just really impact keyboard and mouse players more than controller players because it is a direct input. What you do with the mouse is where your aim goes, so it needs to be predictable, and that's what's causing the problem with Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3 is that it's starting to get very unpredictable, and we've got this muscle memory from 15 years of using mouse and key on different games where we didn't have those effects, and it just makes it feel like your aim is off, and it's all it is game mechanics, and I think that's the core of the problem. All right, I said we would come back to aim sway because I wanted to talk about something else.
Oh,
And this is that thing. So in Modern Warfare 19, when you would look at the aim sway and actually measure the aim sway, it looked exactly like this Python program. It looked perfectly predictable. It was smooth. Everything was the same. It was still kind of an unpredictable curve. That was the nature of aim sway. But for some reason, in Modern Warfare 2, aim sway seems to be completely impacted by these two effects I've mentioned. So how you're aiming and how you're strafing and just the gun movement in general is now like added to the aim sway almost. So just the way the gun is swaying as it has inertia while it.
Oh my God, it made a perfect thing. It's like when the DVD symbol hits the corner perfectly. That's what we made. Dang.
Swaying, that is factored into the aim sway, and you can see this. So it used to look just like this,
But
and
now
it looks like this. So this is a gun sway. So you can see it's just kind of random and weird. You look at the background sway. So there's two different components. There's the way the gun sways around, and then the background scene behind it sways also. So that's what the difference is here.
what
You
the
can see
fuck
even
is
the
this?
background sway just
This looks like a macaroni art thing that I made in kindergarten.
doesn't look like that at all. These are direct points I measured in the game using computer vision program that I wrote.
All right, cool.
And if you combined the gun sway and the background sway, you can see it looks nothing like that curve that I showed in Python. So it's just way more like random and weird feeling now, on top of just being aim sway itself, where it's not where you're expecting to be aiming in when you ADS. So just wanted to cover that. The weapon mass and inertia seems to also be affecting the aim sway of the weapons.
The weapon mass and inertia is there at least a stat on the gun where it tells you how heavy the weapon is? Does it tell you the weapon weights in that game?
Like I said earlier in the video, I actually did the math, so it didn't look like the reticle was off by that much, but you'll be amazed how much it actually is off by when we look at this. So at what range does just strafing make you miss your target because of this strafe reticle deviation? So if you strafe or aim, strafe and aim movement, so if you move the mouse or you strafe to the left, both of those have the same magnitude of deviation. It's 0.126 degrees. If you do them both at the same time, you can double that because they just add up, so 0.252. But what we're going to talk about here is strafe spamming. So when you're strafe spamming, you're going left, right.
That's a quarter. That's a quarter.
left, right, trying to avoid their bullets. You can go from 0.126 degrees to the left to 0.126 degrees to the right. So that ends in 0.252 degrees being off out at distance. So you can see that this chart here, this table here, this is the distance here. So distance to the target, 17 meters, 10 meters. And then we have half the head hitbox size and half the chest hitbox size, because you're aiming for the center of the chest and the center of the head. So if you're off by just half of the size of the hitbox, those shots are going to miss. So looking at this, as soon as the degrees pass one of these two numbers, that is when we start to miss. So the head hitbox size is in this column. So at 18 meters, we start to miss headshots if we are strafe spamming. So 18 meters.
So the game's only playable at 17 meters. Got it. So at 17 meters, you could be confident at hitting heads. But the game is playable if you're even more playable if you're only getting chest shots. Okay. Gotcha.
You start to miss purely from this effect. That's super close. If we look at where you start to miss just strafing in one direction, so if you're just strafing to the left, your aim is off enough at 35 meters to completely miss a headshot. So it looked like a very small amount, but when you're strafe spamming or just strafing in one direction out at longer ranges, it has a huge, huge impact, and it just makes it feel like there's like the mouse acceleration there that isn't supposed to be there, because it's supposed to be direct input. Mouse is supposed to be direct input. If we look at the chest hitbox, you can see you're hitting your shots.
Bro, what is the concurrent players like right now for Modern Warfare 3? Like, how many players are actually playing Modern Warfare 3 right now? That's what I want to know.
Hitting your shots all the way down here until 57 meters, and you'll start to miss at 57 meters. That is
Oh.
0.251 degrees. So that is the strafe spam miss point, and then all the way down at 115 meters, you start to miss chest shots just strafing in one direction from this strafing reticle shift effect that is in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3.
Dang.
The previous one was just for strafing. So what if the worst case scenario happens and we're strafing left and aiming left? We combine those two,
Oh, God.
and if we're doing
You're strafing left and aiming left. Well, then that sucker is going to be, the reticle is going to be like all the way over here.
both of those back and forth, then we have these two numbers. The numbers just get doubled, so 0.252 and 0.504.
Oh, it's half. It's half. Oh, God.
4 degrees. So you can see that immediately before shorter than 10 meters, you are missing if you're doing the strafe and aim back and forth in the same.
So this is like your standard mechanics. So the game isn't even playable at 10 meters. Just because it's just head. If it's chest, and then it's like, oh, it's all green or whatever.
Direction, you will miss a headshot. That's how much it is off by. It would be somewhere around like 8 meters. You're gonna miss a headshot from this same effect. And then at 18
Jesus.
meters, you start to even if you're just going in one direction, you're moving your aim to the left and strafing to the left. Then at 18 meters, you fully miss a headshot. All the way out to infinity, obviously. And then the chest hitbox, you start to miss if you're doing the strafe spam and aim back and forth at 29 meters. So that's super short to miss a target completely in the chest. And then you start to completely miss if you're just going in one direction at 57 meters. So it seems like a small effect in the videos, but it's actually really dramatic when you have an input that has to be perfect. So
Not
what's
anymore.
the solution? What do I think needs to change? Well, I think it would be awesome.
Well, no, honestly, nothing has to change. If they are going to make a change, they'll make it in the next game. They won't make it in this game. I guarantee it.
If aim sway, when you ADS'd in, if your aim sway started from the 0-0 position rather than being random.
Yeah, but they already did that in like a Call of Duty. That's old mechanics. We want the new mechanics.
Talked about this earlier, but it starts in a random position, jumps to that position, and then starts following the curve, which makes it impossible to predict. It's just a randomness feature that I don't like. It would be possible if the phase shift was removed to just start it at 0-0. That would be the first thing I'd like to see changed. I don't think that will ever change because that was how it was in Modern Warfare 19 as well. So I don't think that they will change that.
Yeah, and there's nothing special about Modern Warfare 2019. It's just another installment of the game. It's not like, oh, 2019 was so good and this and that and whatever. It's just people want to like hang on to it as if it was like the start of the change. Like these are objectively, I don't know anybody who would like any of these types of mechanics that he mentioned earlier in the video. There's nothing in there that makes me want to play this genre, or not genre, but this IP anymore.
I think that the aim movement, where you move your mouse and the aim point shifts away from the center of the screen, I think that it'd be great if that was reduced or removed, but that was in Modern Warfare 19, so I know that that's not...
Yeah, but just because it was in Modern Warfare 19 doesn't make it good either.
Exactly what's causing this, but I do think it's the stacking effect of all these different things adding up, so I do think that's part of it. I think that it's just that in Modern Warfare 19 we didn't have the strafe effect, and the strafe effect is the big one. So I would love to see WASD and the left thumbstick just completely decoupled from your aim position entirely. I don't think that what you're...
No, if they were to change this in the next game, what is it? What would be the next game? I have no idea. But if they're not, my money is on they're not going to remove it, and if anything, they are going to add an attachment that you grind for, that you unlock somewhere later in the gun level, so that you can reduce it that way. That's my guess.
Doing with your movement keys, what you're doing with your left thumbstick, should make your aim move. I think that because mouse is a direct input, we need that direct input to just be exactly that. Almost every game in history, the most popular FPS games of all time, have just left the reticle in the center of the screen throughout all movement, and you know where it is. It's predictable. Your shots will go right there.
Yes, but when you make it predictable, you make it so that the good players can express their skill in a skillful way, and when that happens, they shit on the casual players, and then when the casual players feel like they're getting shit on too much, they just stop playing the game. So yeah.
So that would be that's what I want. I would love to see them just decouple the strafe, any sort of movement from your aim point. All right, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Took a lot of time to make this video, a lot of effort.
That's
I
a
would
good
appreciate
ass
a
video,
channel, like
dude.
on the video, comment on the video. We also have those native iOS and Android apps, so get those downloaded. Write us a review. We
Yeah, I'm
really
gonna go download
appreciate
those.
it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the next one.
I had no idea that these mechanics were in the Modern Warfare 3. Holy crap. This is brand. I'm fucking subbed. Hell yeah. Yeah, this is news to me. I had no idea that these were in there. And the thumbnail is you're shooting Nicki Minaj. I can't get over that, dude. I literally cannot get over that. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, if you're on M&K, just stop playing COD. I mean, it's as simple as that. Just go play something else, man. It's not an M&K game. What are you doing? Go do something else. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. He put in a lot of time and effort, and good on him for that shit, dude. Hell yeah. But that's it for me. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.